Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Is that good? Welcome back to the show. Yo, listen up, we back in the game. Sweep the league, we got a plane. Motivated to the fullest every single day. We wake up, get it in every way. Right to the two in the global inspiration. Talk this sports and top news, no hesitation. Sweep the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that STL Music, mama, we did it, where we at? Coach Jill in the house with the flow so tight. Never done, Purple Rock stats, we unite. Yeah, the best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweep, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, Rayne Fernandez.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
2, 1.
Well, as you guys can tell, Derek Gervin doesn't miss anything. If you don't want to miss anything as well, go to YouTube. Search at Sweep the League TV. Be a subscriber today. We're giving away a bunch of prizes and stuff. Be a subscriber today so you don't miss, just like Derek never misses. Subscribe to Sweep the League.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
My bad. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Sweep the League on this Tuesday night, the light edition. Rudy Campos, and you're going to be joined hopefully by Derek Gervin and Coach Gio. We'll see if they're going to be joining us tonight. I know it's a big night. It's election night. So we're going to try to take away a little bit of the election blues while everybody's catching up on who's going to be the next president of the United States. We got our own little rankings going on. The college football playoff rankings officially came out today. The first edition college football playoff rankings. We're going to get into that. Also, some NFL doings, probably some NCAA just started basketball. NBA, the San Antonio Spurs. We got to get into that. You heard about Coach Pop, obviously. Jeremy Sohan is going to be out probably 3 to 6 weeks. More than likely, it's going to be 6 weeks, according to what Jeff Garcia's article, but what he was talking to about one of the doctors up in Austin, one of the guests on Locked On Spurs, said a surgery like this usually goes for about 6 weeks on recovery. So where does that put the San Antonio Spurs? They do have a game tomorrow night against the Houston Rockets. What have you liked about the Spurs? What have you not liked about the Spurs? Also, I'll be on with Jeff Garcia tomorrow on Locked On Spurs. We'll be talking anything and everything Spurs. So be sure to take a listen to that. Also, it's election night. I know that a lot of y'all might be following the election. So if you want to drop whatever you want in the chat, by all means, I'm not going to get into any election talk. This is sports talk and live talk, but the election talk is kind of just for everybody else. Not going to really get into all that here. Shout out to MCS General Contracting, the greatest contractors in the business. I met up with the boss, the Jefe today of MCS General Contracting, Mr. Chris Leja. As you can tell, I got the MCS hat now. So we're going to be giving away a couple of MCS General Contracting hats. Also, we've got more giveaways. Guys, if you're leaving comments on the YouTube page through any video that we're doing, for any live videos, any shorts, any clips, anything, be sure to check your replies, because we are replying to a lot of your comments. some of the comments that we replied to were saying email us at, the email that we provide, because if you do, you're going to win a prize. We're giving you a prize. I've already sent out a lot of comments, a lot of replies. I'm not getting any emails yet. I'm checking every day and I don't get them. If I don't get any emails, we can't get a winner. So be sure to send an email to, if we reply to you, we're dropping an email. Send the email. I've got a Mike Tyson autograph. We got the Tyson Paul fight coming up. So got a Mike Tyson autograph that we'll be giving away. We've got gift cards galore. Burger Boy. We've got Lids gift cards. We've got tickets to Spurs games. If we get no replies, we can't give it away. We're just going to keep giving it. We're going to go to the next person. So I'm going to give everybody another week here to get their email sent in to reply for the prizes, because that's the only way we can do it. You don't provide emails on YouTube. So when we go to YouTube, we select the winner. We're doing it by reply. So to how more active you are on chat, and also with our subscribers, we're also to select a subscriber. So just be on the lookout. That's all I can tell you. We've already sent out probably 10 messages. So we need to get more replies from that, so that way we can start sending your gifts out. So I appreciate everybody here. Tim Gonzalez. I voted for Sweep the League Best Podcast in San Antonio. I appreciate that, Tim. Appreciate it very, very much. You got a lot of changes coming to Sweep the League, so be on the lookout. Jacob Eric is one of the changes. He's going to probably end up joining me on a couple of Sweep the League shows, so look out for Jacob Eric, the only podcast where we have Detroit and UTSA Hall of Famer Derek Gervin. That is true, Tim. He's the only Hall of Famer, true Hall of Famer on the show. Appreciate everything Derek does. And Sislor Elias, Rudy, yes, the fantasy league killer. Well, in one league, I'm in the Susio league. I'm terrible in that league. I don't know who put the league together, but knowing that the defense can score like 700 points any weekend and the quarterback can get like 70 and 80 points for whatever, I had no idea that the scoring was like that. So who cares? It is what it is. I'm just not in last place, but I did get sixth on one of the leagues that we were in. Beat him to the ground, just like the Atlanta Falcons ended up beating the Dallas Cowboys this past weekend. So sorry, man. Appreciate that. In the CC League, I'm number one. Took my first loss. Yeah, you are number one in the CC League. We'll go with that. Appreciate everybody joining. Be sure to go Sweep the League on YouTube. Search Sweep the League TV. Be a subscriber to our YouTube page. Get you a chance to win more prizes. Like I said, we've got tickets. We've got Spurs tickets. We've got gift cards. We've got cash. We're giving away cash. So please be a subscriber. We've already given away a couple things. A lot of people haven't responded yet. Again, please respond to the replies that we're leaving on the comments or dropping an email. So be sure to just send us an email. Check for your replies as well. Let's get into it, guys. So we've got the rankings coming out here, and we're going to start off with some NCAA football. So let's get the rankings out here. Brought to you by sportingnews.com. Here's the bracket. So if the college football playoffs started today, you were looking at Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Miami 3, BYU at 4. I don't fully expect BYU to be there on the top 4 at the end of the season. I'd look more possibly at another Big Ten, maybe another SEC team into the top 4. I fully expect all three, Oregon, Georgia, and Miami, to just be 1, 2, 3. I can't really see them losing. It's kind of tough without going through the schedules right now. I would say those are going to be probably your top 3 teams, unless one of them has a hiccup somewhere in there. I would say Oregon, Georgia, Miami is probably going to be 1, 2, 3. 4, you might possibly see Ohio State get up into 4. Even if BYU goes undefeated, I don't know if they stay at 4. It's kind of tough. It's going to come to towards the end of the season. One team in the top 12 that I do not really expect to be there. I'm having a tough time leaving Penn State in the top 12. I think they probably will get another loss somewhere in here at the end of the season. So I don't expect them to be in the top 10. Notre Dame is a very interesting one here, because with Notre Dame, you have the possibility of another loss. And it comes down to who they have. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Notre Dame still has Army on their schedule. I'm bringing up their schedule now. So, yeah, right now, Notre Dame is kind of the tricky one because they're at number 10. They could fall out. Notre Dame's remaining schedule is they've got Florida State, they've got Virginia, then they got Army, and then USC. So they still have Army there. Army, I think Notre Dame trips up against Army. I don't see them losing to Florida State. I don't see them obviously losing to Virginia, nor do I see them losing to USC. But it's the Army game, and this is where it makes a big difference here. Army has 4 games left: North Texas, Notre Dame, UTSA, who got a very big win this past weekend over Memphis, and then they close out the year with Navy. The Navy game at the end of the year would have meant a lot more and helped Army's resume had Navy just been a one-loss team or really undefeated. So it hurts Army, but it also helps Army. If Army can beat North Texas, who North Texas can put up some points, if they can get through Notre Dame and they beat Notre Dame, you've got to give careful consideration for put Army in there. Now, Army is only ranked number 25, and you're going to get all the backlash. You're not going to put Army in there. There's no way you can put Army in there. Army makes no sense to be in there. Well, that Notre Dame win is going to be huge. It's going to be a huge win for them because it'll be against more than likely a top team in the college football playoffs. Remember, Notre Dame plays Florida State. I don't expect Notre Dame to lose against Florida State. I expect Notre Dame to win against Florida State, keeping them in the top 10, top 12 for sure for the college football playoffs. Then it's like they play after that. Notre Dame plays Virginia, expect them to win there. That's when they come back and they play Army after that Virginia game on November 23rd. So it's going to be a couple of weeks after that. Can you legitimately put Army into the top 12? Well, if you look at the college football rankings, I mean, Boise State is at 12, obviously. So Boise State would stay in. Who else would you put above Army? I mean, you can go. SMU's another one. I know Tim mentioned SMU. Possibly you can move SMU up. A&M had a big loss to South Carolina. LSU's not looking good. Ole Miss is kind of up and down. Iowa State suffered their first loss. Pittsburgh suffered their first loss. Colorado is another team that you can kind of see spiking a little bit, but do they have enough to get in? It's tough. Honestly, personally, if Army runs the table, you've got to give them consideration. I don't think they move all the way up to 12. But if they beat Notre Dame, that should drop Notre Dame probably to 15th, maybe 14th in the rankings, moving a lot of people up. You've got to move Army within the top 20 if they beat a number 10 Notre Dame team in a couple of weeks. But again, Army's got to stay undefeated. They've got to really stay undefeated for the remaining of the year. So that's one to think about. Right now, looking at the matchups, Oregon, BYU, top part of the bracket, Miami, Georgia, bottom half of the bracket. Get into those first round games. Let's look at number 7 and number 10 right now. Penn State, Notre Dame. Franklin can't win the big game, as you can tell, arguing with fans this past weekend. If it's Notre Dame, Penn State, I would go Notre Dame in that game right there, setting up a Notre Dame, Georgia second round match. Bama, Texas, I would definitely take Texas over Bama, setting up a Miami, Texas matchup. That would be an awesome matchup right there. Ohio State, Boise State, I'm taking Ohio State. They're playing too good right now. They're a very dominant team in the Big Ten. I'm taking Ohio State. Genty, as great of a season as he's been having, it'll end in the first round. I would take Ohio State to go up against BYU. Indiana, Tennessee, I'm taking Indiana. Indiana's just been that team this year. And we called it at the beginning of the year. Coach Gio called it at the beginning of the year. He said, watch out for Indiana. Kirk Cignetti there, he makes a big difference. And you can tell. I mean, the closest game that Indiana has had is 42-28. is the closest game that they've had all year. I mean, that was against Maryland, and that was where they struggled in the first half against Maryland. I mean, you're talking about a team, an Indiana team that is what they put up 77 points in a game. They're averaging probably over 40 points a game roughly right now. I mean, they're looking great. And you can say they haven't played anybody. Okay. I mean, Maryland's a tough team. UCLA is up and down. Nebraska, they put up 56 on Nebraska, held Nebraska to 7 points. Their big test is going to be this weekend. This weekend against Michigan. Now, I know Michigan's not the same team. Michigan is definitely not the same team. But that would be a very big win. Michigan's going to be coming in to Indiana. They beat Michigan there. That puts them at 10-0. They go the following week. Well, actually, they get a week off. They're on a bye. Then they got to travel to Columbus to go to Ohio State. That is the game right there. If Indiana can go into Columbus and beat Ohio State, you're setting up, that Oregon-Indiana game. Oregon's just playing ridiculous right now. And that's something that Derek Gervin mentions a whole lot, is how Oregon was going to look. He's had Oregon as probably the best team in college football pretty much since the beginning. You see why. Derek called it. He called Oregon. But if you can get that Indiana-Oregon matchup, anything can happen. Anything can happen. But for argument's sake right now, I would take Indiana to beat Tennessee. Tennessee's too sketchy right now. They're too up and down. Indiana to beat Tennessee, leaving you with Oregon, Indiana, BYU, Ohio State, University of Miami versus Texas, and then Georgia versus Notre Dame. I would take Georgia over Notre Dame. I would take Texas over Miami. That's as much as I don't know about that. I would take Texas to set up that Texas-Georgia rematch. I would take Ohio State to beat BYU. And I think the dream would end for Indiana against Oregon. I would probably take Oregon, setting up an Oregon-Ohio State matchup. So I would have in my final four Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Georgia. That's all I can say is I mean, you're talking a final four to remember. And if you remember correctly, that Oregon, Ohio State in the Final Four, that was a 1-point loss. 32-31, Oregon won. Then you're going back to Georgia and Texas. I mean, you saw the Bulldogs come into Austin and just annihilate the Longhorns. A great Final Four matchup. Oregon, Ohio State, I would take Oregon in that game. Be a close one, but I take Oregon. Give me Texas to beat Georgia in a rematch. I think they took it on the chin. They had a wake-up call. I believe it was Texas, Georgia Part 2. Give me Texas. Setting up an Oregon-Texas matchup. Pretty even there. Pretty even matchup there. If you have a Texas-Oregon matchup. Great on both sides of the ball. Who would win that game? If you have a Texas-Oregon matchup, who do you think would win that game? In the national championship game, Texas versus Oregon, as it stands right now, the bracket. Oh, man. I'm going to go with the Longhorns. I took the Longhorns to win the national title this year. I'm going to stick with them. I'll take the Texas Longhorns to win the national championship, the 2025 national championship, the Texas Longhorns. That would be my pick. Oregon would be coming in second, runner-up. But this bracket is going to change a whole lot. Mentioned, you've got Indiana. They're at number 8 right now. You got a game against Michigan this weekend. So that's going to be huge in itself right there. That's going to be massive right there. Going over some other games. Purdue. I mean, they're going into Columbus. They're going to be playing Ohio State. I don't see Ohio State losing there. So you're sticking with Ohio State, probably at number 5 unless something happens. Florida goes into Austin this weekend. Texas hopefully takes care of business there. They stay right where they're at in the college football rankings. Miami goes to Georgia Tech. Could that be an upset right there? That's one that we're going to talk about later in the week. The possibilities of Miami being upset by Georgia Tech, they're there. Georgia Tech's a 500 team. So it could be a tough matchup for Cam Ward. They've gotten lucky all season. So the possibility is there for possibly Georgia Tech to upset Miami. Georgia has a very big game this weekend. Georgia goes into Ole Miss, into Vaught Hemingway Stadium, Oxford, Mississippi. Ole Miss, they could put up points. Jackson Dart. They can put up a massive amount of points. So is it a guarantee that Georgia is going to win over Ole Miss? It's not a guarantee. Another trap game right there that could possibly giving Oregon more than likely its second loss, dropping them, which if that happens, then who do you move up? I mean, whose win would be more impressive? Would it be Ohio State? Would it be Texas? I mean, Texas would play against Florida. Ohio State beats up on a bad Purdue team. So Texas would have a more I guess a more moral victory overall if they won that game. Other matchups you got to look at. Colorado's being talked about. They're going into Texas Tech. That's going to be a tough game right there in itself. Oregon goes up against Maryland. I don't see them struggling right there. Tennessee plays against Mississippi State. I don't see a struggle there. As mentioned before, Notre Dame, Florida State. I do not see a matchup, a difference there coming in this week. Bama goes to LSU. That is another game that you can look at as possibly being a tough matchup for Alabama. Which LSU team comes out and plays? I mean, that has a lot of significance there when it comes to the rankings in the CFP. So you got to pay close attention to that. Washington, they go into University Park, Pennsylvania, Beaver Stadium. They're playing Penn State. Penn State coming off a loss. Washington 5-4, trying to get to 6 wins, trying to get to that bowl game. That's another game to watch right there. I don't expect Penn State to lose. But then again, coming off of a loss, you have no idea what we're getting. BYU going into Utah. You throw the records out right there. That's another big game there. Utah's struggled all season long. Can we see a BYU upset there? This weekend's going to be huge. And I think Tim made a point here. You're going to see a lot of different rankings until we get to the actual end of season. So the thing that we've got to understand is this is just week one of the rankings. It's week one. Not even going to worry about it. But going into week one of the college football playoff rankings, I see Texas winning the whole thing still. I like the matchups. Longhorns shouldn't be scared of Bama. I think Bama's very vulnerable. Again, they may even be a 3-loss team after this weekend when they play against LSU. So Bama's vulnerable. The matchup I love the most probably in the first week is, if it ends like this, I like the Notre Dame Penn State matchup. I think that would probably be a really close game. The Indiana Tennessee game, as good as that might be, the way Indiana's played all year, I could expect them to put up a ton of points. And I wouldn't even be surprised in the second round if Indiana played Oregon in this hypothetical matchup here. I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana won as many points as they put up on the season. And as good as Curtis Rourke has been looking, I can see them competing with Indiana or with Oregon right there, Indiana. So again, I love the matchups. I love the first week matchups. Not just loving it. Just put it there, just loving it. There's gonna be a lot of games to watch this weekend. We're gonna go over a lot of these games. Probably this Friday, we're gonna do our Friday pick'em. So we're gonna go over a lot of these top 25 games, see what kind of impact that they're gonna have on the rest of the season. Are they gonna make a huge impact? We're gonna get into that here. But for right now, we're going to take a commercial break. When we get back, got to bring up the Spurs news. We got some Spurs news to get into. Pop saying, for the coaching staff basically saying that Victor Wembanyama is going to be a face-up type of player. How does that make you guys feel? A lot of us feel like he should be in the post. They should be working in the post a lot more. Is that anything that you guys like? Also, the fact that Jeremy Stohan is going to be out probably minimum 3 weeks, more than likely going to be 6 weeks. And also Coach Pop with a health scare. We're going to get into all that here in just a little bit. Rudy Campos Jr. for Sweep the League, for Derek Gervin, for Coach Gio. Shout out to our sponsors, MCS General Contracting. We'll be back in just a second, guys. Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting. Building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Are you a hockey fan looking for the latest on the Edmonton Oilers, Pittsburgh Penguins, and NHL news of the week? Barry and Carson Best bring it all to you on the Best Boys Center Ice podcast. They break down games, provide insider updates, and keep you up to speed every week. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and join their hockey family.
We build a legacy, yeah, they know the name. STL Music, it's a movement, not just a claim. Loyalty, respect, that's the code we honor. In the face of adversity, we stand stronger. We build a legacy, yeah, they know the name. STL Music, it's a movement, not just a claim. Loyalty, respect, that's the code we honor. In the face of adversity, we stand stronger.
All right, welcome back to Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. Derek Gervin's going to be off tonight. Coach Gio's going to be off tonight. They should be back probably tomorrow. We're going to do a Sweep the League tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're supposed to have a special guest, one of Detroit basketball's legends of the game, Mr. Antoine the Judge Jobert. Supposed to be joining us tomorrow. We'll get confirmation hopefully tomorrow, and that way we can tweet it out and let you guys know. But another great basketball vault moment that you do not want to miss at all tomorrow night. We will get confirmation for you guys as soon as we have it here on Sweep the League. But nonetheless, we'll get into some NBA notes here. There's a lot of stuff that happened in the NBA. Season's underway. Obviously, the Spurs are 3-4 right now. After for the first 20 games, I had them worst case scenario 5-15. Best case scenario, I had them at 8-12. So right around that mark right now. They're going to play against Houston Rockets tomorrow. So far, they split the season series 1-1 with Houston. Seems like they play Houston every single day is what it feels like. What are the Spurs going to do? Are they going to get the win tomorrow against Houston? We'll soon find out. But nonetheless, Spurs news and notes here before we get into some NBA news and notes. You had the health scare with Pop. And, you know, you see a lot of stuff coming out, what it can be. And everybody can speculate. Everybody can feel they know what's going on with Pop, whether it's an illness, whether it's something really, really serious. I think I've even seen people on Twitter, fans saying, you know, I saw one comment, and shout out to the guy that did it out there, saying, you know, basically Spurs media sucks and Spurs, you know, all this sucks because they don't know anything. Well, to be fair, nobody has come out and said anything. And I get information on the Spurs. I mean, I was covering the Spurs last year. Haven't been to a game to cover them yet this year, but being I live out of town pretty much, it's kind of hard to. But the fact is that I still get, you know, news and notes from Spurs PR. So I can honestly tell you that there's nothing that's come out at all. So it's not like anybody's holding any information from anybody. There truly is just don't know at all. And if people do know, it's being kept under it could be kept under hush hush. Can't really go out and say anything. If the Spurs ask you not to say anything, they don't say anything. But personally, I don't know what's going on. I know a lot of people that don't know what's going on. So we just have to keep saying prayers for Pop. people out there that are bashing, or making jokes in light of what's going on, you got to take the higher road, man. I understand Spurs seasons have been crap, and I understand that, everybody wants to make a change at the coaching position. Everybody does, from basketball all the way to football. The Saints just fired their coach. I mean, you're going to see a lot of firings left and right. But it's different when you ask for a change and you make a change based off performance than when you're making a change based off of health. This is a person's health. Just don't say Pop's health. No, it's a person's health. It's a human being's health. You got to just be kind of cool and calm over the situation. You don't want him here. It's okay. You're not the only one that doesn't want Coach Pop to continue to coach in the Spurs. A lot of people don't. But in light of what's going on, you got to be a little more respectful, man. But I promise you this, any news that comes out, the best people in Spurs insider world and Spurs media world, they're going to get it to you. Jeff Garcia will definitely let you guys know. Follow him on Twitter, @JeffG_Spurszone. He's gonna let you know ahead of time. He's gonna be one of the first guys to break it to you. I'll break it just as fast as Jeff does. So you have to understand, when they know, put it that way. So you got to be just a little bit patient, man. Shout out to Leha, MCS General Contracting. Yeah, this hat. And I'm not gonna Leha, I'm gonna tell the boys out there, because I know the boys are here. Sith is in here and everybody else, but had lunch with the Hefe today with Leha. I'm not gonna say we talked about a lot of you clowns out there, but if you're getting phone calls and text messages sometime this week, don't be scared. Don't be hiding either. We'll find you. We'll find you. I'm just playing. We had a really good lunch today. It was a really good lunch. Just kicking it, talking sports. Me and Leha get together. We talk about sports, or we talk about life. We don't talk about anything else other than that, man. So shout out to Chris, Leha, MCS General Contracting. We're giving away some caps. We have the all black caps. I love it. We got the all black caps on this show. So, we wear black, man. It looks slimming over here, and I got to look a little slimming. I put on a few more pounds, so I got to look super slimming. So shout out to Leha. Appreciate you joining tonight, Chris. And also, again, shout out for the hats and MCS General Contracting, 100% backed by Sweep the League. They guarantee their work 100% of the time. You know what? On a night full of elections, there's only one vote that you can cast, and it's a guaranteed winner, and that is MCS General Contracting. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Pop must have told the front office to keep it private. That's the thing. You got everything happening with Pop. It's going to be private. You gotta understand that it's going to be private. If they want somebody to say something in the media, they'll let them know. They'll let you know eventually. For all we know, it could have been the flu. Sometimes when you get the flu, it brings you to your knees, man. It brings you down big time. We don't know. So just say a prayer for Pop that everything will be okay. That's big facts, 100%. Yes, sir. 100% big facts there. So on the Pop situation, let it play out. Just let it play out. See what's going on. If it comes to the point where Pop can't coach anymore, they'll let you know. They'll let everybody know Pop's not going to be able to return this season. He's going to take some time off. Let it happen. Just let it happen. Let the season play out the way it's going to play out. Jeremy Sohan, 3 to 6 weeks roughly on that surgery on his thumb. Can you honestly say that Jeremy's probably the best player on the Spurs team right now? I think so. It's kind of bad when you have Wemby, but I looked at it like this. Is Jeremy so good because other teams don't respect his game? Hence, gets to the basket a little more. They kind of lay off of him on defense, daring him to shoot. He is playing more aggressive. I'll give him that. He's playing a lot more aggressive, and I'm not taking anything away from him. If you're balling, you're balling. I don't care if the defense doesn't respect you or not, but you're balling, you're balling. Shout out to Jeremy on that. But is it a huge loss? We're going to find out. We're going to find out how big of a loss it is. Where do you replace him? Do you start Zach Collins? Do you start Mamu? Do you bring Keldon in? Run a little small ball with Keldon, Harrison Barnes, Chris Paul, Champagny, and Victor. I mean, you can go small ball. Do you I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know what lineup you're going to get, especially when you have the uncertainty with Coach Pop. You have Mitch Johnson in there. It's going to be a difficult one to predict. So we'll see tomorrow night exactly what happens in Houston. But let me know out there, how do you guys feel about Jeremy getting injured? Is it going to have a huge impact on the Spurs game? Or are a lot of you guys just still kind of riding off the season and thinking, okay, it's just seasons is going to get worse and worse. No Pop. Jeremy's going to be out 3 to 6 weeks. You're talking about a month and a half roughly. So we're thinking January, maybe mid-January when he'll be back. Still don't have Devin. He's not going to play tomorrow. So still reevaluating the whole Devin Vassell thing. Trey Jones is going to be out. How long is Trey going to be out? You're getting the injury bug now. And you're playing against a tough Houston team. Houston's not backing down. They're not backing down at all. So hoping just to get out of Houston, without any injuries or anything like that, and just get to the next game. But for right now, Spurs are 3-4. Do you guys expect them to go any worse than that? I don't know. Tim's bringing up this thing where oddmaker Spurs to land Giannis. I think it was plus 600, if I'm not mistaken. You got to pay attention to this. So, we at Sweep the League, we talk about a lot of stuff. And it's crazy because some of the stuff we talk about, you start hearing it days later. One thing we talked about at the beginning of the year of the NBA was, even last year, screw this year. I'm not worried about this year. You get to the summer of 2025, De'Aaron Fox, free agent. Giannis, he's probably not going to be a buck. So, you're going into the summer with Giannis probably on the move. And he's even said it. If we're not going to win, basically, I'm going to, I want to be traded, or he's going to be asked to be traded, or he feels that he's going to be moved, is what he came down to. There's very few teams that have the assets that the San Antonio Spurs have. I'm not saying they're going to make a move for Giannis, but the possibility and the likelihood of a De'Aaron Fox and a Giannis Antetokounmpo merger in San Antonio with Victor is very likely. We'll just put it that way. It's very likely. Spurs are in need of a point guard. Shy of getting the top 3 pick where they can possibly get Dylan Harper from Rutgers, De'Aaron Fox is not a bad pickup. So I know Atlanta's struggling right now. Spurs are struggling right now. If both teams fall within that big old threshold and they're top 3, bottom 3 teams in the league, I mean, you're looking at potentially top 2 picks right there out of the first 3. You could go and get Dylan Harper. Kind of solves your point guard position right there, because you wouldn't need De'Aaron Fox if you didn't have to get him. But you could also go De'Aaron Fox, and as Tim mentioned, Cooper Flagg, and also Ace Bailey, BJ Edgecombe from Baylor is another guy you got to look at. 2025 is stacked, but the Spurs have so many assets going into the summer. It's not even funny. They could make so many moves. And I mean, you guys would love it. Absolutely love it. Lauri Markkanen is probably going to be another name that's going to be thrown around in the offseason again. There's a lot of different names in 2025 that can be thrown around. Think about it. Ainge probably wants a top 3 pick if he can't get one with Utah. If the Spurs have 2, you can move one of them for Lauri. I'm sure Ainge would want that. But that's what we are getting at when it comes to Giannis, Tim. I mean, Giannis in the Spurs uniform, the possibilities there. How do you play them? I mean, you pair Giannis next to Victor, bad shooters already, so you don't respect the jump shot when it comes to Victor and Giannis. Giannis is full steam ahead to the basket. Victor's a little bit more crafty. He's got a very good perimeter game. He can handle the ball. Problem is that a lot of teams, a lot of coaches have already schemed for Victor. So they're throwing they're throwing shorter guys at him that can body him up and push him out to the perimeter of the court. You want to get him out of the paint. So I'm telling you right now, a Giannis Victor pairing looks good on paper. But man, and on a team that already sucks at shooting the ball, I mean, you're adding more bad shooting. So it just depends. Bring me Giannis and the league is cooked. I agree with that, but I like the point. But you're gonna have to have somebody like a De'Aaron Fox to help them out, control the ball, control the pace of the game. I don't think Chris Paul is going to stick around. I mean, if he does, he may with a Giannis and Victor pairing. I mean, he may want to stick around for another year. But a Giannis Victor pairing is going to need a very good ball handler, a very good guy that's going to be able to, run the team, dictate where players need to be, a very good, savvy leader, veteran on the team who can run the point guard position. Chris Paul's one. De'Aaron's the guy we talk about. Could you get Dylan Harper? I like that a lot. A young point guard. You could I mean, I'm gonna throw this out there. If you guys don't like it, like what's his name? Ron Burgundy said, "Hey, I'm gonna throw it out there. If you don't like it, throw it back." If you were going into the draft and you were able to draft Dylan Harper, a starting five, and you were able to go get a Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're talking. I would go with Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Harrison Barnes, Giannis Victor. I kind of like that five right there, if you can make it happen. Plus, if you have another top 3 pick, the possibilities of Cooper Flag or an Ace Bailey, I mean, that basically puts your rebuild from here to bam to there. Like you're probably top 5, maybe top 6 minimum on the way in the Western Conference if you're able to do something like that. Chances of Giannis coming to San Antonio, slim. It's slim, but it's not slim like in the 10% range. I would say probably 25%, 30% that it happens. It would have to be a trade. I don't think he would just come here voluntarily. Bring me Trae Young to FMW ball. The Trae Young thing is very interesting. Very interesting because you could pair a Trae, you could pair Giannis, and you could pair Victor. All 3 guys, they kind of make sense. Trae, I'm going to go on the apology tour, the Rudy Campos apology tour, because I do owe an apology to Trae Young. I was totally against Trae Young coming to San Antonio. I did not believe that it would work. Trae's kind of grown on me a little bit here. I know the defense. He can play some defense. He's pretty good. He's pretty good at defense. He can get a lot of steals. But defense can be taught. And Leha brought it up to me earlier today at lunch. You can teach defense. He can learn to be a good defender. But then I look at it also on the other hand. If he gets burned to the basket, as long as he keeps his guy in front of him in the perimeter, if he gets burned to the basket, they're going to have to deal with a 7'3" guy, which is a lot tougher. So you can minimize the deficiencies that Trae Young has on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm okay with Trae coming to San Antonio if it ever happened. I would not mind that at all. So shout out to Leha for bringing that up as well. Cooper Flag's a shooter. He also has a bum knee now. Got hurt that last game, the game yesterday. So he's a shooter, Tim. But when you're going into the can Cooper understand that he's not going to be the guy? Now, Cooper Flag is a very unselfish player, but eventually he's going to want to be able to be the guy. Can a Cooper Victor combination work? You got to keep that in mind. F all them picks, you F them, but I mean, picks are good, Leha. They're good. They're good. And you're gonna see it more on the NFL side before we can see it on the NBA side. The NFL, the pick, especially, you and I were eating, you got the Lattimore text. The 3rd rounder is a good pick, 4th rounder. I mean, the Saints got some really good picks for Marshawn Lattimore, especially knowing that the season probably isn't all that. Yeah, it's they're good picks out there. Also, Jimmy Butler, name I'm hearing Jeff posted a while back. I don't see Jimmy Butler coming to San Antonio. Jimmy's the one guy you probably don't want in San Antonio. I would just stay probably clear away from Jimmy. I would say that. Tim is saying Cooper Flag was a cramp, and Leha is saying that he had a cramp. He pulled a LeBron. Yeah, he pulled a LeBron. He didn't want to play anymore. It was too hot. The AC was off in Cameron Indoor. So the Saints did good. Yeah, the Saints did good today on the trade deadline. They moved Marshawn Lattimore to the Washington Commanders. Commanders paid, 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, I believe a 6th round pick as well. So yeah, the Saints did good. They can rebuild pretty good. I really truly think, and you and I talked about it. If I'm the Saints, I'm shopping Derek Carr. I really am, and I'm not even shopping him for anything huge. I mean, there's teams out there that could definitely use Derek Carr. You're probably looking. I think one thing I mentioned were the Giants. You can give the Giants probably Derek Carr, maybe get a fourth. You can try to get a third for him as well. That'll give you a good amount of picks coming into the draft. Other teams, it'd be kind of hard to maybe trade Derek Carr to, but another guy that you and I mentioned was Cam Jordan. I know Cam Jordan is the heart and soul of the Saints, the New Orleans Saints, but at this point of his career, it's almost as if you just say thank you for all you've done. We're going to move you on more than likely to a contender, because a contender is going to jump all over the Jordan drain. So you're going to get some really good value for Cameron Jordan. And I would say as the Saints go, they need to go into full rebuild right now. They need to sell. I truly would honestly even shop. I would have shopped Alvin Kamara as well. We don't know. They probably did put all these guys out there. Nobody took the bait. Nobody wanted them. They probably didn't get what they were expecting in return for those guys. So I would have probably put them all on there if they didn't, and see what you could have gotten. Nonetheless, I think the offseason is going to be big for the Saints. I think you may see a couple more moves coming. But a full rebuild is probably something you need to look into. You've got the offensive line. You need to add a couple more pieces. The defense isn't bad at all. You can add a few more pieces. You've got two great quarterbacks in Haener and Spencer Rattler. So you're set there. Olave, he's got to be put in the right position. They've even got, oh God, my mind's drawing a blank, but they got another guy there. Let me bring it up here that I really truly love, and he played. Where is he? Well, you have Rashid Shaheed. There was another guy there for the New Orleans Saints, but nonetheless, you can get a whole good amount of players through the draft to help build the New Orleans Saints right away. So I would say probably in the offseason, just kind of move on from a lot of these players, just slowly but surely add picks for the New Orleans Saints for this upcoming offseason and in the next season. Brandon Ingram, again, not a guy I would like on the team, Tim. Good small forward. You're probably going to have to end up giving up Devin Vassell, maybe even Keldon, maybe a pick for him. I don't know if Brandon Ingram would be the right move right there. Just get rid of Derek Carr. Yeah, probably, you have to. You got to move on from Derek Carr. Just need to be healthy. Yeah. The injuries came at a very bad time, a very, very bad time for the New Orleans Saints, and it's terrible. Speaking of, trades, you had Smith being traded from the Browns to the Lions. You had to replace Aiden Hutchinson, and Zadarius Smith is that guy. He was one of the guys that I mentioned that you probably will see in the trade on the trade deadline, and he was actually moved to the Detroit Lions. So you needed to replace Aiden. You couldn't get Max Crosby. You couldn't really get anybody else. Settling for Zadarius Smith, it's not so much settling. That is a hell of a move by the Detroit Lions. Shout out to the Lions. Super Bowl winner picks this year. They got better. They got good. You saw DeAndre Hopkins again. It's like Tuesday night is the Rudy Cabo's apology train. I got a shout out to apology, man. I got a shout out to DeAndre Hopkins. I said that move didn't move the needle. It wasn't anything that I was thinking that would help the Kansas City Chiefs. I even told Derek and Gio it's probably another OBJ type trade. Exciting. It's great. It's gonna look awesome. Last night it looked magical for the Kansas City Chiefs. It looks like DeAndre was, revitalized. So I know it's game one. I know it's the first, sample size. We've got a DeAndre with Patrick Mahomes, but looked pretty good last night. Does it continue? We're going to find out as weeks come in, as the Kansas City Chiefs stay undefeated on the season. Are they truly the best team in the AFC? That's the question at hand. You got Kansas City. You definitely have Houston. Buffalo has something to say about it. There's a lot of teams out there. Pittsburgh, they made a move. They got Mike Williams today, adding another receiver to the core for Russell Wilson to go along with George Pickens. Cincinnati's on its way up now. They're coming around the bend. So the AFC is going to get a little bit tougher as we move on towards the season. NFC, the Lions seem to have just stamped their name on everybody on the NFC. They look unbeatable right now. As we say, they're probably going to take an L here pretty soon. But I think the Lions are going to be the NFC, barring injury. The Lions are going to be the NFC representative because they look too good on both sides of the ball. They look really, really damn good. They can control Brian Brandt, some of these hits that he has, they'll be even better. But again, the addition of Zadarius Smith out of the Cleveland Browns, massive move for the Detroit Lions. I do like the Commanders. Adding Marshawn Lattimore was really big for the Commanders. I was hoping they would have traded for one of the top wide receivers that was available to give Jaden Daniels another weapon. But nonetheless, they've proven that they can win with the team they have. They needed some defensive help. They got it at the cornerback's position with Marshawn Lattimore. So I think Washington's going to be one of those teams that you got to watch out for. The Eagles are kind of still up and down. The Atlanta Falcons, I'm going to give a shout out to the Falcons. I like them in the NFC South. I didn't think they were going to make a whole lot of noise. I knew they'd make the playoffs, but I didn't expect them to make a whole lot of noise. I expect them to be a lot better, but I think they're a lot better than what I was giving them credit for. Shout out to Kirk Cousins, man. Definitely not MVP caliber, but let's just say you can make the MVP conversation and you can throw Kurt at the end there somewhere as, consideration. Give him a participation trophy for the NFL season when it comes to MVP talk. But nonetheless, the Atlanta Falcons are going to be a team to be reckoned with. So if there's any teams out there, I would say more than likely your Lions are probably going to be the number one team. After that, you're looking Falcons is definitely one team that can make a huge run. I give them a little more credit than I do the Washington Commanders. Only because of experience. You have a veteran quarterback in Atlanta. You got a rookie in Washington who's not really looking like a rookie. Say that really fast, 10 times. He's not looking like a rookie right now, but when it comes to playoff time, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different world when you're in the NFL playoffs. So keep an eye out for that. Also, the Rams. I mean, you got to kind of look at the Rams too, getting all their players back. They're looking healthy. So can they make a run? It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun part of the second part of the season here for the NFL. Dallas Cowboy fans, Jerry's all in. Jonathan Mingo made a trade for Jonathan Mingo today. Wide receiver, adding to a wide receiver group that is nothing more than yawn, put it that way right now. Dak's going to probably go on the IR if he hasn't already. I think they made an announcement that he's more likely to go on the IR, which means he's out minimum 4 games. Cooper Rush is going to be the starting guy for the Cowboys. Excited, probably so, because a lot of people like Cooper Rush. I was a massive Cooper Rush fan. I wanted Cooper Rush to be a Falcon for the longest time. So, yeah, I mean, Cooper Rush can get it done, but he's not going to lead you to the playoffs. He's not going to do anything like that. If he does, what do? You just cut Dak and eat that salary cap? No, you have to play Dak because you paid him for a reason. But do you guys think Cooper Rush is going to get a couple of victories for the Dallas Cowboys? Let us know in the comments here. Let us know. Drop some comments on the chat. Also on the videos as well. Remember, if you're commenting on the video, if you're commenting on the shorts, on anything that we post on our YouTube page, be sure to check the replays. Put notifications on. That way, if we reply to your comment, you'll have a chance to win some of these prizes. I need a lot of you guys to respond. We're responding to some of your comments on the videos. We're dropping an email. You got to send an email saying, oh, hey, I saw your comment. This is my email. This is that. We'll tell you what you win. All you got to do is contact us on the email provided when we reply to you. So be on the lookout for that. We're giving away caps, as you can tell. I'm digging the all black cap here. I love it. The all black cap. This is this is the bomb right here. I love this right here. I shout out to Leha, man. I love it. I hope Rush wins 4 straight games just so Jerry can have a meltdown. You're talking facts right there, man. If Cooper Rush wins 4 games in a row And then Dak comes back. He's ready to go. Do you bench Cooper Rush? The man, you know what? In the words of Leha, F him, we ball. We ball. We ball tonight. If Cooper Rush wins 4, let's get chaos in here. Let's see what happens. Does McCarthy have the balls to bench Cooper Rush if he's on a 4-game winning streak and Dak comes back? Does Jerry have the testicular fortitude to tell Mike McCarthy, you're going to play Dak because we're paying Dak and he's our starter, and you bench Cooper Rush? The chaos. Yeah, imagine the chaos. The chaos would be, oh my God. I probably would have to go live at that moment with Derek and Gio just to talk about, Cooper Rush being 4-0. What do you do? I mean, hell, you can't trade Dak Prescott. Nobody wants him. It's pretty bad. It's like can't even give him away probably. So let's imagine the chaos, man. But for right now, there's a lot of chaos going on in the country. Obviously, the elections are going on right now. So with that in mind, guys, we're gonna cut the stream short today. We're gonna cut the show short today. We'll be back tomorrow night. Normally Wednesday nights are another night, so we're off. But we will be back tomorrow night with Sweep the League. Hopefully, Derek Irvin's feeling a little bit better. He can join us tomorrow. We are anticipating Detroit basketball. We can't even say legend. Let's just say super massively big time legend Detroit basketball player Antoine the Judge Jobert supposed to be joining us tomorrow night. We'll get confirmation tomorrow and make sure he can join us. If he does and he's able to be here tomorrow with us, we'll have him on the show. We're going to talk a lot about Detroit basketball, something that Derek Gervin obviously and George Gervin are a part of. The history of the basketball aura in Detroit. So it's going to be a massively good conversation. We'll relive some of the Detroit days for Derek Irvin, but also with Antoine the Judge, Jobert, hopefully tomorrow. But again, we will have confirmation. That way you guys can tune in tomorrow. Also, go back and check some of our past episodes. We got Mario Ellie, Speedy Claxton, Dante Mathis, Pete Babcock. Shout out to Pete. We're going to get Pete Babcock here probably within a week or two. We're going to get Pete back on the show, kind of open up that NBA vault. He was a former NBA GM for the Denver Nuggets. So, I mean, he has a ton of stories to tell, and we love every single story when it comes to Pete Babcock. So be sure to look for the rest of it. More guests coming out. Be sure to check out Sweep Unplugged, the brand new podcast that's been released. We've got 3 episodes in. We've got another 8 or 9 coming up. So be on the lookout. It's basically unplugging ourselves from the everyday sports life that we talk to you here in the evening on the main show, bringing you live actors, entertainers, authors. I mean, just all walks of life. That way to kind of get you a break from everything that we do here at Sweep the League. Also, shout out to Iron Refocused Radio. They just got done releasing an interview with WWE NXT stars. So big things happening for Sweep the League Network and Iron Refocused Network. Major things happening. Be sure to go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, be a subscriber, search Iron Refocused Radio, be a subscriber there. All the content you want. Wink, wink, hint, hint. This network is getting big. We've got more podcasts, different voices, different personalities. You guys are going to be ready. You just be ready for it. Be ready for it. 24 hours of sports talk and other talk, live talk and everything. So just be ready, guys. Be ready. I promise you. Appreciate you guys joining me tonight for kind of an off night here at Sweep the League. But again, elections going on. We're going to cut it short. Everybody in America, be safe. All I can say is on political wise, whoever wins, just hope for the best. You know what? We're all going to go to work tomorrow morning, whether he wins, whether she wins. It doesn't matter. We all go to work tomorrow. Love one another, man. We got to be our friends. No more enemies. No more family against family. Nothing like that. Peace to everybody. Love everybody. Be there for everybody. At the end of the day, no matter what you guys do, still your friend. Still got your back. Rudy Campos Jr. So we Sweep the League again. We'll see you later, knuckleheads.
Welcome to the Lean Left, Lean Right podcast, where spirited debates and open discussions reign supreme. Join hosts Rudy and Shemaya as they dive headfirst into the hottest topics in politics and beyond. They're all about seeking common ground without losing their passion for their perspectives. If you're ready for real talk and honest opinions, subscribe now and join the conversation.
Do you love sports? Are you a current or former athlete? Or maybe you're a leader in business with a passion for success? Then we want to talk to you. Join us as a guest on Sweep Unplugged. It's our 15-minute segment where we dive into inspiring stories from the world of sports and business. All you have to do is visit podmatch.com/sweeptheleaguetv and send us a message. Thanks to Podmatch, connecting has never been easier, and it's a fantastic way to grow your network. We're looking forward to having you on the show. Contact us today, and let's get you on Sweep Unplugged.
For the ones who doubted, now we showing the proof. Came from the struggle, we live in the truth.
STL Music.
Yeah, challenges come, but we here to stay. Built from the dirt, now we paving the way. Had a bad day, but this life ain't bad. Exclusive interviews with Rudy and the crew. Let's go.
Ever wondered what regret smells like? Meet Interception by Dak Prescott. Tired of scoring all the time? Us too. That's why we created Interception. For those men who don't want to score tonight. With notes of missed opportunities and a hint of maybe next time, Interception is the perfect scent for the guy who prefers the friend zone. So, take a break from winning and spritz on some Interception. Because sometimes it's okay to drop the ball.